Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your Tribal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here, for a late Sunday night video, right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 669. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit that subscribe button down in my pants, otherwise known as the description marks below. Share the video all over the internet, follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to, you can comment on the video if you like, but if these stupid comments, adios to you, you get sent to the Shadow Realm, placed in an Iron Maiden, Satan, and Ozzy will eat the remains of your soul. So don't do that, because you will get blocked. If you don't like that, then go cry to somebody. And that's that. Do it on your dead channel that nobody gives two fucks about. And we move on with all that. And like I said, share the video, share the video all over the internet. Most importantly, tap and slap that bell to turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything, because if you do, you're pretty much SOL. You know what that means. You don't know what it means, look it up, fuckers. And that's that. You don't know what it means, just look it up. That's why we have Google. That's why we have the internet to look up shit. But we have that, so we move on with that. So, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the video, hit that bell for more, so you don't miss anything, and that's all you gotta do. And if you're brand new here, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite cold one, put your feet up, and enjoy the show. If you like it, once again, if you like it, great, you know, the door's over there, don't let it hit your stinky, smelly, fat ass on the way out. But thank you for the view anyway, asshole. And that's pretty much it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sunday night. It's late. Not that late, but, you know, it's Saturday. It's not Saturday, sorry. Sunday night, August the 10th, 2025, as we're starting the second week of August. Gonna be hot. It was hot today. It was like 90 degrees today in the shade. Tomorrow's gonna be like close to 95 in the shade. It's gonna be on and you know, up and down week of heat. It gets a little cooler by Thursday, and then next weekend back into the heat box we go. But a little rain here and there, and we'll see what happens with that. But I hope you had a great weekend, everybody. The first official weekend of August. And that's pretty much it. If you had a great weekend, good. If you're the Mets, holy shit. I don't know what's going on with the Mets. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Every time, right after the All-Star break, they start going downhill, and then August comes, bye-bye, so long, and farewell to the Mets. And it's panic time for everybody in Metland. Tomorrow we're gonna hit the therapy couch, because I think we need some therapy. Mets have lost 11 of 12. They've lost 7 in a row as of now. They got swept again, you know. They got swept at home against the Guardians. They lost 2 or 3 to the Giants. And they got swept today by Milwaukee, which means the good land. And they're swimming in freaking water up there in Green Bay, Wisconsin! No, I'm not going to talk about Mr. Kennedy. But, yeah. They got a lot of rain up there in Michigan. Or Wisconsin, talking about, like, freaking swimming to the hotel or some shit like that. I'm like, what? So, you know, the Jets were playing in Lambeau Field, the so-called, well, not now, but it will be in about, like, 2 months, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, where they just mauled the Packers, like, destroyed them. It's preseason, but, you know. It is what it is. Giants won 35-24. No, 34-25 against the Bills in Buffalo. and the Niners got destroyed in. What did they? They played in I think they played in Denver. Or they played at home in Santa Clara. I don't even remember. I didn't see much of the game anyway because I don't care about the preseason that much. But yeah, Niners lost 30-9. They were up 9-0, and then just what happened? Like second and third string was like, we don't want to play. We're just gonna give up 30 points. Why not? But it is what it is. Brock Purdy, did what he did, and then Macaroni and Cheese Jones comes in, and then the third quarterback for the Niners. Oh boy, did he suck! He sucked worse than Dax Prescott. Oh. Cowboy fans, how we feeling today? How we feeling this season, Cowboy fans? Get ready. A couple of you guys, a couple of weeks away from the first game of the season in Dallas, prime time, against the Super Bowl champion pedophile Eagles, defending their title on Thursday Night Football, and that's on NBC. I think it's on NBC. Yeah, it should be on NBC. Or Amazon Prime. Hey, I get that for free! So I get to watch, anytime the Niners are on Amazon, it's a good time for me. I get to watch it for free. But other times when they're not televised, I have to fire up the 49ers app on the so-called, getting broken down computer that I'm going to be putting in storage pretty soon, because I'm getting a new one pretty soon. With Windows 11, because, we have to upgrade. Let me upgrade you, like Beyonce was saying. But, it is what it is. Preseason football's starting. Preseason hockey's around the corner. Not that I care about that, but, we got the Rangers coming up. So as baseball starts to, go bye-bye pretty soon, with, get into the playoffs, and how Dynamite and Collision especially is going to be preempted, especially on TBS. So probably see, Tuesday Night Wars, come back with NXT dismantling freaking Tony Khan's company. But that's going to be in October. When, we'll see what happens with that. Probably going to be a couple of weeks that Dynamite and maybe, not so much Collision because that's on TNT, but eventually when, I don't know, well, the NBA, we don't have to worry about the NBA for now, because the NBA is going to NBC. That stupid thing. The great NBA on NBC theme from the 80s and early 90s. Where the hell is my cord? Okay. So lots of good stuff coming away. Football coming back. Is back. Preseason stuff, but the main show, basically, a couple weeks away. Week 1 in the NFL in the league where they play. For pay. And then right around the corner, we got preseason hockey, and then that starts in about, in the early stages of October. So, the Rangers, like I said, the Icelanders and the Devils will be back in action in the NHL in the league where they play for pain. And then we got basketball, the Knicks coming back after basically in the Eastern Conference Finals, losing in 6 games to the eventual, surprising, NBA champion Indiana Pacers. So they're going to be defending their title coming up in 2 months. See how that goes. College football, college basketball coming away. Back to school for some of you people already in school. Hope you did your homework. But for other people, they're going to be starting in different states. They're going to be starting up pretty soon, and here in the northeast corridor, back to school pretty much 3 weeks away. So, the summer is almost over. I will be in command. So, no, I won't, but I'm just kidding. I just love saying that from a Twisted Sister. You know, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. But like I said, hope everybody had a great day. I had an up and down day, but, you know, Sunday, so I was gonna go out today, but decided to lay back, have a chill day, watch some TV, watch the Mets just get, you know, 5-0 lead. Ugh. And for you Yankee fans, you got destroyed by the assholes. I mean, the Astros, which is your bitch, you know, your daddy now. You know, just New York baseball in August is just bad right now. Mets and the Yankees, the 4th and 5th worst record since June 13th. What happens when the Mets had a hot red start, going back and forth with the Phils. They had a 2.5 game lead right around the All-Star break, and then bye. Now they're 5.5 games out, 1.5 up on Cincinnati for the final wild card spot with like 7 weeks to play. And they're off tomorrow, thank the Lord. We don't have to watch that crap. But they're back home for Atlanta and Seattle. Then, oh boy. Then the end of August is going to be insane. Washington, we got that Philly series coming up. That's, I think 3 at home. No, 4 in Philly at the end of this month. 3 at Citi Field. That's, you know, beginning of September. Right after, the week after Labor Day. That could really tell if the Mets are going to be, you know, fighting for that division by September, or bye-bye, so long, farewell. And then who knows if they have to pray to get a wild card spot. We got so many teams creeping up on them. Cincinnati, I think the Giants, the Marlins. I thought the Marlins would be in the back mirror. Creeping up about, I think there was 6, and I think it's 5 games back of the Mets. Oy. Mets are like a train wreck right now. Something has to happen. Uncle Stevie and Cousin David, you know, something has to happen. Get rid of Chavez, that hitting coach is garbage. Get rid of Jeremy Hefner, the freaking pitching coach, because I don't know what's going on with the pitching. They can't go past 4 fucking innings. And then the bullpen is just taxed, and they're garbage. We got so many people in the bullpen. Halsey, we get him, which is like one of the best closers in the game, was next to Diaz, but we get him, and what does he do? He stinks it up like Diaz did today. And then you got all these other guys that just can't pitch and get anybody out. Garrett is like so up and down, makes me want my head spin. And then you got all these other guys they got. I'm like, can you pitch? I mean, seriously, Sean Manaea, freaking today, he started off good, and then gives up a homer, 5-1, then 5-3. Next thing you know, it's 6-5. Or, you know, then they blew it in the 8th, like they always fucking do. Had a chance in the 9th to at least take the lead and maybe win. And then Diaz comes in the 9th to try to make it go to extra innings. 4 pitches in, boom! Good night. And Bob Ueger's up in heaven like, God! By God, the Indians win it! No, Bob, wrong team. Milwaukee. Oh, I'm sitting in the front row. Drinking a Miller Lite. Tastes great! Less filling. You ever had a Miller Lite? Back in the 80s, I was young. I think I couldn't even drink beer. Every once in a while, my dad gets Miller High Life. Not Miller, though. It's not Miller Lite. We're like, I want a Miller Lite. I don't want Miller. Miller's, It's like drinking Bud Ice. Ugh. And I used to work, back in my day, I used to work in a deli as a stock boy. And during my, sometimes during, if I wanted a beer, just take it out of the freaking freezer. Pop open a Corona, pop open a Michelob Light, even pop open a Bud, but it's Bud Light, not Bud. And sometimes a Bud Ice here and there, but Bud Ice just had this like aftertaste. So I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna start drinking some Coronas and have Heineken. Rosa loves Heineken. Religiously loves it. She loves her Heinies. Don't ask. Don't ask. I don't want to know about it. She loves that. That's what we call Heineken's Heinies. So, give me a Heine. I'll give you a high knee. Bam! I'll give you a Koyame like Kenny Omega. Bam! Man, anything to, quench your thirst. Like this one right here. It's Pepsi Zero, by the way. Pepsi 1, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. Alright, enough about that. Boo! Funky! You didn't come here to hear me spiel for 16 minutes. But, like I said, I hope everybody else had a great day, and if you didn't, well, too bad. Hope you have a great, great Monday. The start of the work week. Getting close to everything else coming away. Labor Day weekend. And all that good shit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the lateness of the videos. I've been really tired and blah. Last couple days I've been feeling like shit. But, I have some energy to do a couple videos tonight, so I got maybe one, with this one, and then maybe one, maybe two more, depending on how much energy I have, or maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to talk about Smackdown right now. Then later on, we're going to talk about AEW Collision. And then if I have some time, we're going to talk about TNA and Ring of Honor. And then, I know it's going to be a little bit late and out of date, but my 16-year anniversary was yesterday on this great website of YouTube. So yeah, I wanted to do a video yesterday, and I completely didn't forget, but I'm just tired, so. But in any case, we'll do that probably tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow. Probably in the late afternoon, because I do gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. So my usual Monday, I gotta go to the doctor every Monday. So, it is what it is. Kind of busy week this week, and I think I only have like maybe one or two off. Actually, no, I got one off day, which is from appointments and everything. So, the doctor tomorrow, physical therapy Tuesday and Friday. Then I gotta go to the dentist to fix my teeth, my bottom, this area. I don't know about. I gotta get. Well, I have a temporary crown over here, so I gotta get the permanent put in. Then I'm thinking. I think I'm doing the middle and right side of my teeth. I think I'm gonna probably put another crown in. So that's another visit. That's probably gonna be like a week or two. I think I got 3 or 4 more dental visits to do, but I do gotta take a tooth out because it's cracked. They say it's a wisdom tooth. I'm like, can't be a wisdom tooth. I got all my wisdom teeth gone, I think. So yeah, but in any case, the rotor-rooter on my beautiful teeth is pretty much almost done. So probably by the middle to end of next month, I'll be hopefully done for a while with the dentist, and then eventually, go back for a cleaning and, look-see, and that's pretty much it. But, yeah, trying to get my life back in order by the end of the year and everything, and lots of other things going on in my life, But that's that. Try not to let anything really distract me from what I actually have to do. And at the end of this month, I got some very important stuff to do regarding work and some other private things I can't talk about. So nothing bad, but, you know, just see what happens with that. Let me move on with that. Alright, enough about that. Alright, 20 minutes of spiel. Just go, if you don't want to hear my spiel from 20 minutes ago, start the video here. But like I said, it is time for your late and out-of-date Smackdown review. For this past Friday night, August the 8th, 2025, the Smackdown Aftermath show from SummerSlam. And since we were in Brooklyn, New York, around, you know, my stomping, you know, my neck of the woods, well, not my neck of the woods, but my stomping grounds, Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center. This past Friday night, we went north of the border to that shithole country of Canada, where they can't get anything done right with those wildfires. What else is new? But anyway, we are at the Bell Center in a horrible city like Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Not as great as Toronto, not as great as Ottawa, and definitely not as great as Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Just saying. Alright, so we're from Montreal, Quebec, you know, those crazy fans in Montreal. Had a pretty decent show, not a great show, but we'll talk about it in a second. Alright, so as always on Friday Night Smackdown, which might be changing pretty soon because college football and college basketball are going to be starting, and I think Joe Tessitore does some stuff at ESPN, so he's probably going to go from SmackDown to Raw, and Michael Cole is going to go from back to SmackDown. I don't know if it's going to be him and Wade Barrett on Friday Night SmackDown starting in September, or it might be, and then on Raw it'll be Joe Tessitore and Corey Graves, or they switch, you know, so it'll be Michael Cole and Corey Slave on SmackDown, and then back to what it used to be during beginning of January, where it was on Raw, it was Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, and it works out fine with Joe Tessitore, because he doesn't have to, like, go to another city real quick after SmackDown to do college football on Saturday. So it kind of works out for him. So he, like, Joe Tessitore has, like, the Pat McAfee type thing. Not that he's not gonna miss time, but like I said, they're probably gonna be switching commentary teams coming up probably after Labor Day. So just be aware of that. So if you say, hey, what the hell is he doing on Raw? He doesn't work here. Now you know. You should have listened to Peter Joseph when I told you that Joe Tessitore is doing some football on the weekends. That's why he can't do it on Friday night. I mean, we'll have to see what happens when we get there. Alright, we're on the road, the Clash in Paris, 3 weeks from tonight, August the 31st, in Paris, and that's a 2 p.m. start when we get there. We're pretty much 2 weeks away from Forbidden Door and NXT Heatwave. That's beginning at 7. And then I think Forbidden Door starts at 3 p.m. here in the States, so that might be a lead-in right into the first hour, at least, of NXT Heatwave. So, long night. Basically, I would say 7 hours about 7 hours of wrestling 2 weeks from tonight, August 24th. That's, you know, double pay-per-view. So we got that. And this Friday night, we got Emergence for TNA. And August the 29th, 19 days away, we got Death Before Dishonor, pretty much at the same time as SmackDown. Do you think anybody's going to watch that? I'm watching a replay. So, I might do a not live look-in, but I'm going to watch SmackDown live. And then, maybe I'll peek in with a live feed of Death Before Dishonor, since I have Honor Club for free. So, I mean, we'll see. I am doing a prediction video for Death Before Dishonor and a review, but that's going to be Labor Day weekend. So we don't have to worry about. We'll get to there. We'll get there when we get there. Blah 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 blah. All right. So Joe Tessitore and bad news read ballot. And Joe, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm afraid I got some bad news for you. Now we get that. All right. So we start off with a long recap of SummerSlam, mostly Night 2, where we saw Cody, MDK Cody, you bitch. No! Defeated Mr. 17 in your scorecard, 17 in your heart. A man who turned back to being a face. Last week on Smackdown, and that's John Cena, who's got like 11 dates left. The Cena, the whole thing with Cena, the whole Cena tour, pretty much coming to an end pretty soon. The experiment with him going back to being a heel did not work. I mean, the promos were good, just the way he was presented. He was getting beat up every fucking week by Cody, by Punk, by Orton. He's like, that's supposed... I mean, you're presenting Cena like a fucking jobber champion? Makes some freaking sense to me, but now he's back to being a face. And then he gets beat up by Brock. You would think that Cena and Brock were having like a face-to-face this on Friday night, did they? No! I'm like, why? Then I was thinking, alright, now my theory, which I mentioned during my SummerSlam review, I said that Brock and Cena should not be at Clash in Paris, which it is not, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It should be in October in Australia for Crown Jewel. It fits him. It's a bigger stadium. I know it's in Australia. We're going to be getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to watch this fucking shit. What are you going to do? But that's on October, but... We're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, this ain't New Japan! We get up at 3 a.m. for that. If you're watching a G1, we're staying up till 3 a.m. Watch the G1, that goes to about 6 a.m. Then you have your late, snack, and then, right before the end of the G1 or Wrestle Kingdom, or Wrestling Dynasty, you're like, hey, I'm gonna grab myself some McDonald's, as it's opening up. Give me get the big breakfast, or give me a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin with a hash brown and a nice big iced coffee, or an apple juice, or an orange juice, or McCafe. You gotta get a coffee instead of making yourself a fresh pot of coffee. Rosa had to make one today. She woke up before me this morning, and then I got up. She's in the kitchen. I'm like, what are you doing? And I see what she's doing. I was like, she gets the Prince Nana coffee. I was like, you making some coffee? She goes, yeah, I'm making a fresh pot of coffee. You wonder why I'm saying fresh pot of coffee? It's a Dave. It's a Dave Grohl joke. It's an inside joke when he, if you've seen Dave Grohl, not lately, but I think it was commercials. He's he's doing coffee commercials. Fresh pot, I made lasagna. Okay, Dave. Take it easy. Go make some more Foo Fighter records. But, yeah. So she makes a fresh pot of coffee. She's wired, enough. Then we have a good breakfast, and then, she's feeling a little bit frisky, after breakfast. I give her a few more Link sausages. You know what I mean? we'll be baking maybe in that bedroom. And then, you know, we take a little nap and then get up about, you know, a little few hours later, and then, you know, just do what we gotta do and have a little late lunch, or we go out for a walk, or do whatever we want. But today we pretty much stayed in. We watched the Mets, and then we watched a movie, took a nap. Then we just had some dinner, about an hour or two ago. Watching the Osbournes, it made me cry, so I had to turn it off. God bless you, Ozzy. God bless you, Dad! Why are you always so fucking yelling all the time? I'm trying to sleep! Shut it! No. Sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, Oz. I miss that man. I do. I can't get over Ozzy's death. I know it's been 2 weeks, I think. It was just a shock. Like, more of a shock that Hogan died. Well, Ozzy's death, I think, you know, was more impactful than Hogan's death, in my opinion. Even though Hogan was one of my childhood wrestling heroes, and Ozzy's Ozzy, you know. But, you know, you just don't know when you're gonna pass away. You just don't know. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be next week, next year, next millennium, who knows. I mean, if we all lived like in that Nickelback video for Saving Me, then we all know when we're gonna die. But then again, we have that timer, and it's counting down, and it goes zoom, and boom, you're dead. But it is what it is. We move on. Alright. So, what was I talking about? I have no idea. It's late. Okay. Alright, so we're going to recap of SummerSlam. I missed my notes. Why did my notes go all the way over there? So then we start off with John Cena for the last time in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Comes out with his ketchup-colored shirt. Talks to Stan. Hey, Stan, you wanna run? You old fart? Let's go to work. Alright, so he runs to the ring for a little kitty chat with us. And gets things going. Get the big special introduction from Mark Nash. No relation to Kevin. And Cena's impressed by the reaction he's getting. I wonder why. So then he talks about WWE being afraid to come to Montreal for such a long time because the audience might hijack the show. Well, that always happens in New York, and happens in LA, happens in Chicago, happens in Orlando, happens in that dump in London, in Philly too, that shithole. So can't go anywhere with the fans, you know, hijacking the show every once in a while. But anyway, he's like, I've never been afraid of that because the people here are so nuts, meaning in Montreal, that he can barely hear himself talk. And he's like, imagine someone in the back trying to prepare a show around these people. A little Chip H, nudge. Why is he talking about me? Bruce Pritchard. I don't know. I love you. Shut up. Okay. Alright, so Cena brings up the fans singing. Ole, 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 Frito-Lay, Frito-Lay. You know, stuff like that. Because they're off to the races. Some wrestlers might be afraid of being out here in front of the crowd, but I've learned to let the fans be themselves and enjoy every single second, even though a bunch of fucking marks half the time. And then Cena's like, I learned that it doesn't last forever. And then we get a thank you, Cena chant. And he's like, oh, that's so great. I love you, man. So he says, after the show, he has 11 appearances left. And every night, that goes by, he gets more and more afraid. He's afraid that no matter what he does, he's gonna let the people down. No, John. You don't let us down. Losing to Cody, you did that. Pissed us off, but that's a little story for another time. And on top of that, he's afraid that we will forget him. No, not really. He has all these fears on his mind, and he's even afraid of Brock Lesnar. And the thing is, there is no universe in which he'll back down from Brock. He's afraid that Brock and everyone else has a big, huge Cena problem, and he basically tells the Smackdown roster, says, if you want some, come get some. So he's waiting for somebody to come out, and out comes that fake Puerto Rican. I'm sorry, Issa, I have to say it. He's fake. Even though he lives there, he's really from Cleveland. Logan Small, he comes out. He's not impressed with Cena, who says Logan might have just made the biggest fucking mistake of his life, you think? And whether you like it or not, I was right when I said that Logan does wrestling better than anyone else in the WWE. Or Logan said that. It's like, hey, you said that, right? And Cena's like, yeah, I said that, but you're also the biggest fucking dumbass I've ever seen. So the crowd's like, yeah! So then Logan accuses Cena of saying whatever the bosses want him to. Ooh. He's like, how about we do a match right here, right now? So Cena's like, okay, we'll do it right here, right now. And Logan says, well, we're not gonna do it in a French-Canadian city like Montreal. How about we do it at Clash in Paris? I'm like, no. I'm like, nobody will watch and care. So Cena seems like he accepted a match, and then out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre, Papucho, he jumps for Cena from behind, 2-on-1 beat down. I'm like, okay, who's gonna save Cena now? Well, it's Cody! Cody comes out for the save. They stand tall. Cena accepts the match for Clash in Paris. But he wants a fight right here, right now. So he issues a tag team match player. So he thinks he's Teddy Long, player. So we got a tag team match made with John Cena and Cody teaming up, I believe, for the first time, against Logan Small and Drew McIntyre. So we're not getting, like I said, we're not getting Brock and Cena in Paris. We're most likely getting it in Australia at Crown Fool. Or do they go all the way to November 29th, which is Survivor Series in San Diego? Do they do it, domestically? Do they do it, they do that big time match in San Diego, California? I don't know. I'd rather do it in Australia. Save Survivor Series from maybe Cena's going to be part of a War Games team. Like with Roman, and maybe with Roman, they'll be teasing like Roman, I think it was Roman. I know it's Roman, LA Knight, Punk, and I think Jey Uso and Cody. That's a decent 5-man team going up against, I think not Solo's group, but I forget the other team. I saw a graphic with with War Games on it, and Cena was part of the group with so it's Roman, Cena, Cody, Punk. I think that was it. One of them gets taken out, like Jey Uso or something like that. Not Jey. Well, I don't know. Whatever it may be. So they could do it at Survivor Series, so people can actually see it. At a certain. They don't have to wait till 8 o'clock and shit. 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever it may be in Australia. Whatever. Anyway. Alright, so, Cena plays a great part of Teddy Long. He could have said, "You don't like that? Well, you're gonna go one-on-one with the Undertaker." God bless Teddy Long. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so mega tag team match for the main event of Smackdown. I'm gonna give the segment 3.25 out of 5 stars. We're off and running on Smackdown. Down. Alright, move on. Alright, then we go to the back with the Motor City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley, who's pretty banged up after that hellacious and great 6-way TLC ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which saw the Wyatt Six somehow retain that. But anyway, we see the Guns all banged up, where Alex Shelley mainly. They're ready to face Solo Mibuki, and it was supposed to be Hikuleo or Tala Tonga and Tonga Loa in tag team action. They say, "Yeah, we're hurt, but we're ready to bring it as we always do, or as well as we can." Alright, we got that. Alright, so after that, which I gave 2.25 out of 5 stars, we get to the match, our first match of the night. Actually, it was JC Mateo and Tala Tonga, sorry, not, Tonga Loa was at ringside with Solo. And the match was, under 8 minutes. Tala Tonga was in trouble early on, but he swats Alex Shelley to the floor like a bug. As we go to break, we come right back. Chris Sabin strikes away at Jason Mateo, hits a springboard tornado DDT. That's a mouthful, that's what she said, for a near fall. And then JC comes right back with a swinging belly-to-back suplex. Alex Shelley has to make the save. And then Tala Tonga ain't having any of that. He comes in and hits a wicked choke slam. 1, 2, 3. So Hikurio and Jeff Cobb get the win. So the MFTs get the win over the Guns. Match was 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then afterwards, Solo gets on the mic and says the MFTs are the next tag team champions, possibly. And then he says, "I'm ready for a fight, but I'm getting out of this garbage city." But then we hear Nicholas Aldis comes out and says, No, you are staying right there, and you are going to have a match right here, right now, with somebody you know, and it's a good buddy from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So I'm like, who's from Montreal that we know? Well, it's this guy! And it's Sammy Lame. Let's go! So, El Generico comes back, and Sammy came out with the El Generico trunks. Well, didn't bring the mask. And, non-title match, not for the U.S. title. But, Sammy gets a big, huge hometown ovation. And then, right before the match, we get the Ole, 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 Frito-Lay, Frito-Lay. Somewhere in Maryville, Quebec, Canada, Kevin Steen is like, "That son of a bitch!" He hates that guy. How many times have we seen Kevin Steen and Generico? Every time you think of Montreal, you're thinking about Kevin Steen and Generico. Well, Kevin's is healing from his neck injury. Sami Zayn just came off a, pretty big match win against the now bye-bye, so long, farewell, Killer Cross. And Scarlett, they got moved to the alumni section. And they expect us, the freaking voice our displeasure, like when Ron Killings got released, or his contract ended, or he got released, and everybody's like mad, and then he comes back as Ron Killings and just beats the fuck out of Cena. And this was all work. Well, that was a work. We thought that he actually got released, and then he comes back. They want us to believe that the fans are going to chant, "We want Cross, we want Cross." And then he comes back as Killer Cross, and Scarlet Bordeaux comes back as Scarlet, of course. And this was all a ruse. It's like, you know, Ron Killings 2.0. I'm like, no, that ain't going to work for me, Hunter. If this is actually a work, I mean, fine. But if I thought that Cross resigned, obviously I was wrong. But if this is not a work, and Cross's contract ended today, then that whole thing where everybody's saying we want Cross, and people like and the higher ups, and this is what Cross was saying today in a premiere. He was saying, oh, the higher ups told him don't listen to the "We want Cross" chants from the crowd, and he's like, no, that doesn't work for me, bro. So I'm thinking this is some type of storyline. Might be true that he's gone from WWE, and then we have to wait 3 months. Probably the end of the year, he might be showing up in AEW or Ring of Honor or maybe TNA, New Japan. Who knows? I mean, so we'll have to take this with a grain of salt. So I think it's a work. I think it's one of those it's a Ron Killings 2.0 work, and I think it's ridiculous. You know, they basically made Cross look like a jobber at SummerSlam. It's like, oh, Sammy's gonna win. You're gonna basically job out to him, and then we're just gonna let your contract run out. But we're gonna tease that, you know, that your contract runs out, and everyone's like, fuck you, WWE, that you didn't re-sign Cross. And then next thing you know, he's back. You know, maybe he comes back at Clash in Paris. Or maybe he comes back on a random Raw and Smackdown. You know, after the fact. You know, like, hey, he came back at Killer Cross. Woo! Like, this was a ploy. You know, all the marks that don't know wrestling, the ins and outs of wrestling. Like, everything's a work or a schwork, which is a shoot work. You haven't been around for 40-some-odd years like I have. 45 years, you know, right this year. I've been watching wrestling since 1980. I mean, I know the ins and outs. I know what a schwork is. I know what a work is. I know, you know, tweeners and this and that. So, whether this Cross thing is a work or it's not a work, if he goes to another company after a couple months, I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I don't know if he does go to AEW, how Tony Khan would book him. I mentioned that to him 2 years ago at a WrestlePro show. I met him and Scarlett. I said, you ever, you know, now that you got there, this is after a couple months after they got released the first time. You know, he was doing all his indie work. You know, I met him at a WrestlePro show, and I was like, you guys ever think about maybe going to AEW? And Scarlett's like, well, if Tony Khan has the right storyline, yeah, we definitely pick up the phone. Never happened. So a couple months to almost a year goes by, and then next thing you know, Cross and Scarlett are back in WWE with the Final Testament situation, which started off alright, and then down the drain. And the only thing that of note was them beating the fuck out of the YS6, injuring Bo Dallas, and then Akam and Razor and Precious Paul Ellering get pretty much Spanish archered out. And then Cross is like, you know, on the sidelines, like, what is he gonna do? And he's basically sitting back in catering. Same thing with Scarlett, sitting back in catering, waiting for something to do. And then we had that whole thing with Cross at WrestleMania, basically chewing out and shooting on Hunter. and the WWE higher up saying, hey, why can't you put me on the show and this and that? And then when he does get on the show, he loses, which pissed everybody off. So like to the point where maybe she should have went to AEW or back to TNA because they would have opened the doors for Killer Cross to come back in for TNA. Whether that happens again, I don't know. Alright, so we move on. Anyway, so Sami Zayn non-title match with Solo with the rest of the NFTs at ringside. Pretty much a back and forth match, 10.5-minute match. Sami gets a near fall off a sunset flip. Goes to the Blue Thunder Bomb, gets blocked by Solo. Solo knocks him down. Throws up the Samoan Spike. That gets kicked away. And then a Wicked Exploder into the corner by Sami. Leaves Solo down, but then Tonga Loa, also distraction to break up the hell of a kick. And then Sami has to basically has to get Jeff Cobb and Julio off the apron, which allows Solo to hit a super kick. Then he goes, Sami's like, it's on Dream Street. And then Solo, every time he does that, he's like, I got this win. He picks up a basically dead weight Sami Zayn who was like wobbly, and he grabs him, he's like, ah! And then he goes for the Samoan Spike, missed it. Sami gets a fruit roll up, 1, 2, 3 to win. The hometown boy gets the win. The crowd goes nuts. So it looks like Sami Zayn might have a U.S. title shot coming up against Solo, and it'll be nice to have Sami finally win a title other than the Intercontinental title, or the tag team titles he held with Mr. Kevin Steen. So nice for him to win the U.S. title, become a Triple Crown champion. He has to win the World title to become a Grand Slam champion, but will we ever do that? Probably not. You never know. Alright, so Sami gets the win, and the crowd goes completely berserk. Let me move on. Alright, let me get my notes back in order. Here we go. Alright, moving on. Alright, then we go to, I believe it was the back, where Horseface Charlotte Flair has plans for Miss Bliss, which her birthday was yesterday. She has some plans for her birthday, and we're going to see them out in the ring for a little pre-birthday celebration, and Lexi's like, okay. A little bit worried about that. So we'll see what happens with that in just a bit. Alright, then we get a video for the Wyatt Six. We got Uncle Howdy, Nikki Cross, Big Red, Eric Rowan, and the tag team champions Dexter, Loomis, and Joe Gacy. Basically, the group says, we will never, they will never lead us astray. This is about something so much bigger, and there are more lessons to be learned. And then I think Eric Rowan's like, our story has only just begun. Chapters, probably. So we'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, the Sami Solo match, I gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. And in the Wyatt 6 promo, I gave 2.25 out of 5 stars. That leads us to the back, where we see the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford, along with B-Fab. What do they call us? Some type of group? I forgot the name of it. But anyway, the Lions or some shit like that. But anyway, they're not impressed. Not impressed with Skywalker. Not impressed. So they're not impressed with the Wyatt's promo, but then DIY comes in. That's Johnny Gargano, his hot wife, Candice LeRae, surprisingly still alive. And intact, she can walk into the freaking shot. And the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa, they come in and they bicker over whose fault it was that the Wyatts are still the champs. And then they're talking about, Candice's scary as fuck fall. Which I think the Profits knocked Gargano into Ciampa who backed into the ladder, and then the ladder went woo. It tilted, and then poor Candace on the top of the ladder, crashes through a bridge ladder, knee first. And it didn't look good. I'm surprised she's still walking and alive. And then the big guy said, "You gonna kill? She's a mother." This and that. And then Nick Aldis comes in and says, "I'm gonna fix this stuff with the tag team division." And everybody's like, "Yeah, right. You couldn't fix it in the 6-way. Now the YN6 are still the champs, and now, we got all us wanting title shots again." So he comes in and makes a match between the Profits and DIY next week. Joy. I don't know, the Smackdown tag team division is just wild and crazy. And we get all that. Alright, so I get that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Alright. Then we where are we? Alright, then we go to the ring with the Women's Tag Team Champions, Ms. Bliss, Alexa Bliss, and Horseface Charlotte Flair for a championship / Alexa Bliss birthday celebration. So we got a big, huge cake in the ring, dedicated to Charlotte, even though it's not a birthday. And Lexi, and with Lexi in small letters. And there's a big present, which neither wants to open. And, Lexi's, kind of scared, but then, and then eventually shows, so it's like, "I'm so happy to give it to you." I'm like, "I bet. If you watch my short, you know." But I digress. But it's actually it's Lily, her doll, with a "We're not best friends. We are not best friends," shirt. Lexi likes it. The fans like, "Yay, Lily's back!" Well, that's not all. In the box, we get Charlotte's little doll, Charlie, that Lexi gave her a couple years ago, with the Macking shirt. She was like, "I kept this and I didn't want it, but, blah, 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 blah." So then Charlotte says, "Something's missing here. Something's missing here. Lexi, something's missing here." So she basically opens up her arms and says, "You may now hug me." So she's like, "Bring it in, man. Bring it in, man." Like Jericho. "Bring it in, man." So Lexi's like, they're about to hug, and then Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest come out, Alba Fire and Dewdrop, Pipe and Nevin, they come out, and Chelsea mocks the Montreal Canadiens, ouch, because she's from Toronto. But just remember, Chelsea, who has more Stanley Cup titles, and who does better in the playoffs, who actually can get out of the first round. Even though the Leafs, I think, got to semifinals this past season. Not that they gave two flying fucks. Because the eventual winners were the Florida Panthers. Once again, they're back-to-back champions going to defend their title. See if they can three-peat. I hope not. But we'll see what happens when we get there. So she makes fun of the Montreal Canadiens. And then she reveals, Charlotte reveals, "Oh wait, I got one more gift. Beating up beating up Chelsea Green." So Chelsea's like, "No, I don't have to take this. I'm going home." So she goes to leave, but then Nick Aldis comes out and says, "Hey, look, we got a new referee." And I'm like, where did this guy come from? The local Walmart? Got a freaking bow on his freaking shirt. Like, who is this guy? I mean, really, who the fuck is this guy? So he goes to the ring. We got an impromptu match with Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green. So, but the birthday / if you want to call it, a tag team title celebration wasn't very great, and I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. And that's that. Alright, so before we get to the match, we had Carmelo Hayes, him, tries to find Nick Aldis, but runs, and he opens the door, he finds The Miz in Nick Aldis' office. Anyway, I'm like, what are you doing in there? So, Melo's not happy with Miz, leaving him high and dry for months, because Miz was doing that horrible American Gladiators reboot. So he left them high and dry on his way to getting a U.S. title shot. So Miz is like, hold on a second there, Melo, hold on. I'm gonna cut you off right there. I just got out of Nick Aldis' office and we got a tag team match for next week. I'd probably be like against Fraxium or maybe Andrade and Ray Phoenix or something like that. Maybe the Wyatts, who knows. But anyway, so Carmelo's like, alright. So Miz is like, we're Melo don't Miz and we're awesome. Alright, Miz, okay, Mike. You're great. You're great. Man, that's all I gotta say about that. So, decent segment, and I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that's that. We move on. Oh, hi, Mike. How you doing, Mr. Joseph? You were talking about, that guy who thinks he's awesome? He's not? Oh, yeah, we were talking about Mike Mizanin, The Miz. He's in a team with Carmelo Hayes. You don't know him because he was too young to even remember you. And everything. Excuse me. So, blah, 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 blah. So basically, he's like, we're Melo don't Miz and we're awesome. That's, Yeah, I'm pretty much pissed off at Miz for saying that. They're not awesome. He wishes he was awesome, but I'm awesome. I'm older than him. Yeah, you're right. But the one thing you have a lot more, we don't have a lot of things in common with him, Mike, but, the one thing you have over him is you got hot bitches. I mean, he's got Maurice, who's a hot French-Canadian piece of ash. And he knocked her up twice. You're up there with Matilda the Hun. You get gummy blowjobs from freaking Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. I mean, you got all the hot ladies up there in heaven, Mike. You are better than the Miz. You are awesome, more awesome than the Miz. I know. Can you blame me? No. Yeah, I just wanted to say I hate that guy, Mike Mizanin. He's a piece of crap. He's not awesome. Well, hopefully he won't go into the Hall of Fame before you. Yeah, I need to get to the Hall of Fame. I want to get in so bad before him. Because if he goes in before me, I'm going to come down from heaven. I'm going to haunt him for the rest of his life. And then I'm going to put him through a freaking flaming table. Because I'm awesome. Then I'm going to take Maurice and show him how awesome I are. I really am. Okay, Mike, calm down. Yeah, I'm just so worked up. I'm sorry. It's okay, Mike. At least you're not worked up, with that other guy. Don't say it! Don't say his name! Okay. I won't say his name. Blanca! What did you say? What did you say? I said Blanca from Street Fighter. Oh, I thought you said Banaka. Okay. Binoculars? No, not binoculars, Mike. We don't have many binoculars up here in heaven. Why do you need binoculars? Oh, right. You want to look at the hot chicks on the beach, it's summertime, Well, you can't, you can't find all the, the chicks up there on the beach in heaven, so like that? No, there's no beaches up here. I mean, I do see some of the, some of the people, all these chicks, with the bathing suits and shit. it's nice, but, you know. Then I have to look at the guys in their Speedos. Makes me, Alright, Mike, that's way too much information. Nah, I'm sorry. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta do some stuff. Alright, go do it, Mike. Say goodbye to your fans. Bye! Bye, fans! I gotta go! My voice is cracking. I gotta go. Bye! Okay, get out of here, Mike. Go have some, go have the tea. Go have some tea. He's respecting it. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. It's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want on my show. And you're gonna still watch it. And you're gonna clip it and critique it. Because that's all you can do. Make fun. Saying, oh, Peter's playing with his dolls again. He's disrespecting the dead. He does death videos for clout. No. It's called satire. It's called comedy. I run a comedy show here. Oh, you're not funny. More funny than you. I'd like to see you do some great impressions like Mike Awesome and New Jack and Hogan Brother, you know, Maximilian Savio, yeah, and all the other ones I get to do every once in a while. I'd like to see you try it on your dead channel with like 25, 30 subs. You talk about clout. All the videos on me is all clout, basically. You can't prove it otherwise, because I don't do videos for clout. Do I do videos about you? Nope. I don't do drama videos that much anymore. I don't need to. It's a waste of my time. I know it gets a lot of views and everything, but, you know, I gotten out of that phase of just going back and forth in videos, basically bashing the living and proving my point. Because these people have no points. Maybe minute points, and it's just ridiculous. Oh, I talked to this person, I talked to that person. You didn't talk to shit, nobody. You didn't talk to anybody, you're just yapping out your ass. Just stop. You think you did to try to bait me into talking to those people and saying, oh, you talk to this person, you know. No. I'm gonna go, ha, see? You failed. And then you're like, I made you do it. Go fuck yourself. You're not better than me. You never will. You can't prove much of anything. There's a bunch of immature 20 to 30-year-old fucktards that have no fucking life. Should be doing something else. I have a life, actually. I work. I go out. I prove I go out. I don't even know I don't have to really prove I go out to some of you people. That I go to GCW, or I go to whatever, I go to concerts. Like this coming weekend, I'll be incommunicado because I'll be within this moment and all that shit. And whether you believe me or not, that's fine and dandy. I don't care. But like I said, I don't have to prove with receipts. I don't prove shit, jack shit, because you can't prove anything with receipts and if anything has substance to make me think, you know. No, because I don't have to listen to any of you fuckers. So, below me, because you're nothing to me. And I'm just gonna do what I always do. Not give a shit. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Alright, moving on. Alright, so Mello and Miz got a tag team match next week against I don't know who. And that's it. Alright, and nobody really gave a shit about that segment. So I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, where am I? If I can get my that to work. That too. Alright, get the cursor to work. There we go. Alright, so then we go to Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green with the Secret Herbs at ringside, Lexi at ringside. Match was, man, the cake was still there on another, at ringside, so I'm like, somebody's gonna go through that cake, and probably gonna be either Chelsea, Alba Fire, or even Dewdrop. So anyway, we get near the end of the match. Okay, there we go. Chelsea catches Charlotte on top with a superplex for a near fall. Then she wants the cake brought in the ring. She wants to hit the unprettier on the cake. Charlotte reverses into her own unprettier into the cake. Not the first time Chelsea Green had cake on her, if you follow GCW lore. A couple years ago when Matt Cardona had that whole indie god run when he was the GCW heavyweight champion by beating a certain guy named Nick fucking Gage. They had like a wedding ceremony. Or, I don't know, it was a wedding ceremony. I think it was a wedding ceremony or a wedding vow ceremony in the ring or some shit like that. They were like a big power couple, and they're like, oh, we gotta do this shit. So they bring in the cake, and then next thing you know, Nick fucking Gage comes back and basically beats the living crap out of Matt Cardona, slices his head wide open. And freaking, I think Chelsea Green took like a big fucking pizza slicer to the head, or that might have been the red icing on the cake, or maybe, you know, when she was consoling her husband who was bleeding like a fucking pig. So, like I said, not the first time she's had cake in her face. That rhymes. Alright, so Charlotte wins the match with her own version of the unprettier into the cake, which was funny as hell. But you knew that was going to happen. And we get that. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we go to back. And it's Tiffy time! Daddy! What? It's late. What do you want? I just want you to know, did you see me on Smackdown? I'm still the champ. I beat that big woman. Then it looks like that mutant Storm or whatever. Yes, I saw the match. You did great. You look great. You feel great. You won. Daddy's proud. Ah, thank you, Daddy. Yeah, but she tried to get a rematch with me, and I said no. Yeah, tell her no. She doesn't deserve it. Alright, Daddy, I'm gonna go and hang out with Ludwig Spears. Oh, you mean Grande Americano? Who's that guy? Daddy, who's that guy? That guy looks like somebody I know. Never mind, Sunshine. Here's my credit card. Get out of here. Okay, bye, Daddy. Bye. Okay. Daddy approved. Alright, so Tiffy Tips happy with her win against Jade at SummerSlam. Jade comes in and says, it's not over till I say it's over. So Tiffy's like, well, if you do get a rematch, it's gonna be the same result. It's always gonna be Tiffy time. So she leaves, and then the Women's United States Champion, my girl Julia, and the lovely hot accountant Kiana James, they come in. Kiana offers her services, not like that, even though that would be nice. Offers her services to Jade. So gives her like a card, like she's MVP. And here's my card. If you ever need us, we hurt people. We hurt people. We hurt people. Anyway, so Kiana and Julia then leave. It's like, and then Julia's like, if you need us, we will call, or something like that, just in case. So she takes the card, and then Mia Yim comes in, takes the card, is like, I could really use this to get a women's U.S. title shot. And Jay's like, huh? What? What are you missing? What did I miss? Yeah, you missed Mia Yim just basically saying, hey, I'm going to talk to Kiana James about possibly getting a women's U.S. title shot. And lose. if anybody probably beats Julia, maybe it's Jade. I really don't want that, but what are you gonna do? That's that. Alright, so I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. And moving along, my friends. Alright, then we get a video for Mr. Selena Vega. That's her husband, Tommy End, otherwise known as Aleister Black. Cuts a promo talking about the difference between good and evil, saying that he's an eye for a head kind of guy, not eye for an eye. Remember what happened with that? Seth Rollins and anyone circa 2020? Which basically he took Aleister out of action, by doing what he did to Rey Mysterio and, messing up, taking out his eye. And then, next thing you know, Aleister Black, 4-year run in fucking, AEW. Which was good, was bad, but, all in all, he's back in WWE. Doing some good stuff. Now he's in a big, hellacious feud with Poppy Priest. So he's like, I'm an eye for a head kind of guy. He says, violence begets violence. And that's why Poppy is at home with a broken freaking jaw that Aleister delivered last week with the, dropping him on the steps and then the black mass right around the steps. Crazy shit. And he says, if that makes me a scapegoat, so be it. Interesting. So, this feud between Aleister Black and Poppy is far from over. We'll see what's next. And that's that. Alright, 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, we're still we go in the back, we see John Cena walking in the back, probably going out the door, I don't know where he's going. He runs into, guess who's back? Ron Killings. Or, I can't call him Truth yet. So basically, like, Cena's like he's seen a ghost, and then they're doing, like, the whole, are you real? Are you real? And Ron's like, you're back! My childhood hero is back! So Cena talks about how weird you were weird for like 5 months, and now you come back with this different hair and making a kid cry. What's up with that? But it's good to have the real Ron Killings back. So then Cena goes to leave, and Ron's a little bit more confused than usual. So are we getting Truth back now? I don't know what we're getting. But it was kind of like a weird dream-like sequence. All we needed to do was a get-a-doo, from Wayne's World. Let's do the Scooby-Doo ending. Get-a-doo. Fish hook! Fish hook! Get-a-doo. And her name was Cassandra. Yay! Who didn't want to bang Tia Carrere in that movie? Who did not? I mean, not the first time she's done a sex scene in that movie. Well, she didn't do a sex scene per se, but she has done a sex scene with Dolph Lundgren. It was just the weirdest fucking thing. Like, what? What's going on here? She's like riding Dolph Lundgren's like dick. This is, I think maybe after he did Rocky 4. I'm like, holy shit! Dolph Lundgren in bed with Tia Carrere when she was like the height of her career, and he's just like, I'm like, dude, it's Tia Carrere. That's one hot Asian chick. I mean, shit. I think she's Asian or I don't think she, no, well, I don't know if it was actually, she was actually doing Mandarin or semi-Mandarin. It's not, I don't think she's Mandarin. I know she's like Oriental or some type of I wouldn't say Filipino. I don't think she's not Filipino. I don't think she's either Chinese or Japanese or Hawaiian or Polynesian. one of those denominations. But she's still fucking hot. Even at her, even older now, she's fucking hot. I still fuck her. Shit. She's a babe! Dream! She will be mine. Oh yes, she will be mine again. Zang. Hey, she sang, Bo and Blitz pretty damn good on the soundtrack. And you didn't think that Tia Curry could sing, huh? Well, she can sing. She can play a mean old bass guitar, too. And man, did she look good in that red dress and that bikini, even though the snake really fucked that thing up. Is that you? Or the snake? Ah! Get out of here, Rob Lowe, you creep. That ending was weird. Comes in like, oh, he got like some type of thing put up his butt or something. I don't know what happened to him. If you were an ice cream flavor, you would be pralines and ick. Weird movie. One was weird. Second one, where they just have a guy that looked like Jim Morrison, God rest his mighty soul. Jim! Oh, cool. Sand. If you book them, they will come. Wayne Stock. Wayne Stock with one band, and that was Aerosmith. I mean, really. In fucking Chicago Park, you have Wayne Stock with not even Wayne Stock, it's just an Aerosmith concert. And then, Wayne stops the wedding with, that Bobby guy, that record producer, Christopher Walken's character. Punk! And I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. I gotta have more cowbell! Alright, enough of that. Alright, so we got all that dream sequence thing with Ron Killings and Cena. It was kind of funny, kind of like, what is this? Alright, moving on. So I get that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Moving on. Moving on. Alright. Let me finish this shindig because I do want to... Alright. I do want to get this done because I've been talking for an hour and a half. And I want to get this done, have a late night, have some dessert, and then I'll have more dessert if, you know... Well, I don't know. Rose hasn't been feeling well today, so... I was, being a good husband and, you know, giving her a nice little sexy massage because, you know, her bones are, you know, brittle, you know, something like that. But anyway, but she'll probably be getting up pretty soon just to probably take a shit or a leak or whatever. I don't know. Moving on. Alright, so then we go to a main event of Smackdown. John Cena and Cody, I believe for the first time, teaming up against Logan Small and Drew McIntyre. Coming off their big win against Jelly Roll Donut, and Randy Orton has this voice! Alright, so anyway, this match was started off alright, but it was kind of boring. Getting to the end, it was boring. But anyway. So, Cody slugs away at Logan to start. Does that patented drop down uppercut like Dustin does, even though he does it better. Then a delayed good buster. It's enough for Cena to say, hey, tag me in! So eventually Cody gets the hot tag to Cena, who gets hit with a Glasgow Kiss headbutt by Babucho. And then Logan comes in, adds a clothesline on the floor. As we're going to break, we come right back. Cody avoids a charge in the corner. Gets another hot tag to Cena, who cleans house. He does all the hits, the five moves of doom. Then, hits the "You can't see me" right nickel shuffle on Logan Paul. Picks him up, hits the AA for a near fall. As Drew made the save. And then Logan hits Cena in his nutsack. And right in front of the ref. Ref's like, that's it. Disqualification. So Cena and Cody get the win by DQ in a little over 8 minutes. Match was alright. 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, Cody and Drew keep brawling. And I think Cena and Logan, I think, went to the back. I didn't see where they went. But anyway. So Babucho and Cody are brawling on the floor. Drew knocks Cody down right near the announcer's table, like on the bottom of the announce table. He grabs the undisputed title and looks at it, and then you hear Joe Texas always like, "He's become unhinged," and he looks at his eyes, and then out of nowhere, the fucking cameraman missed it. Drew hits probably one of the sickest claymores I've ever seen him hit. He hits Cody, and it goes right through the bottom front of the announcer's table. And everyone's like, "Holy shit!" And then, the freaking announcers are like, "Oh my god!" Like, all we needed was Joey Styles go, "Oh my god!" Or, no, he doesn't know that, "Oh my god!" He goes, "Oh my god!" And you kind of heard, Wade Barry go, "Oh my god!" Claymore, and he's like, Claymore through the splintered bottom of the announce table. I thought the announce table was gonna, he cracked the bottom, and I thought the whole thing was gonna crash right on Cody's face. And then you see, Drew, "You son of a bitch, I'm gonna kick your ass at Paris." This is the third Clash event that Drew's had a title match. He lost to Roman. I think he lost to Seth. And now he's probably going to lose to Cody. I would love for him to win it in Paris, but I think Cody's going to go all the way to Mania 42. I would love for him to lose to Roman. If Roman wants to go out, because eventually he only has maybe a couple more years left, he's saying. If Roman wants to go out as probably one of the greatest champions in WWE history, besides 13-16, I would have Roman win the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber, beat the fuck out of Cody at WrestleMania 42, and then go on another five-year run. And that's what I would do. I would book Roman to win the Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. Go on to WrestleMania. We have a rematch from WrestleMania 40. 2 years in the making. We get the rematch of all rematches. Their third actual match. Roman beats the fuck out of Cody, ending his reign. And then Roman goes on a humongous reign throughout 2026. And if he does lose it, I say lose it at the Royal Rumble in 2027 or at Mania in 2027, Mania 43. And then he's like, "Oh, that's it, I'm retired." He retires as our tribal chief of all tribal chiefs. But we'll see what happens with that. And that's it. Alright, so, wicked, crazy as fuck ending. Cody basically died, thanks to Drew Papucho McIntyre. So, we'll see what happens next week on the program. And that's pretty much it. So, that's my review. Thanks for watching, everybody. And that ending, even though it was kind of sick, I gave the whole show 7 out of 10 stars. It wasn't great coming out, for the aftermath show for SmackDown. Raw was kind of that too, but got 2 more weeks till 2 more show. Where we up? No, 10, 13. We got we got 3 more Raws, 3 more SmackDowns to go till we get to Paris. That SmackDown on the 29th in Paris will be taped, so we'll see that early in the day. If you have a VPN, you get to see that around 3 o'clock p.m. on the 29th. You see it live. And then we go right to Clash in Paris. And then on Labor Day, September the 1st, Raw in Paris. That's going to be at 3 p.m. So early afternoon wrestling. And then we get the actual tape portion on, well, if you watch it on Netflix. I don't know if they're going to have the replay on Netflix, because it's going to be probably live on Netflix. But yeah, like I said, SmackDown the 29th is taped, because it's in Paris. But if you have a VPN, you get to watch it for, on Netflix with a VPN at 3 p.m. on the 29th and on September the 1st. And then the first Friday SmackDown of September, we'll be back in the States. So then we're back on SmackDown at 8 p.m. So we got all that. But in any case, that's what it's going to be for the next couple weeks. And that's all I got to say about that. Alright, so like I said, SmackDown was an okay show. So I gave it a pretty standard 7 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you guys thought of the show down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video. Please hit that subscribe button down below. And subscribe to my other channels as well. Check out the... well, I had 2 shorts up today. One on my Peter Joseph channel. One on my Rant channel. But I took that down because of... it was blocked for copyright from Major League Baseball. Because I showed the Met highlights while I was ranting. I should have put the camera on myself instead of my Rich Man's TV, which is 32-inch, $750 by the way, and it's like been, when did I get this TV? 2017, 18, I think. About a 7-8 years I had that TV. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to take it apart when I eventually move out of Casa del Joseph. I'm in the early stages of actually putting stuff in boxes and eventually figuring out what I'm gonna take to wherever I move to, whether it be California, Florida, or who knows where, Texas, Mexico, overseas, who knows. But gonna be doing that. I'm in the early stages of that. I might put some stuff in storage. Then whatever I do take, like my computers and my clothes and certain other things that I will take down, to wherever I move to, take that down, and then eventually, maybe 3 to 4, 5 months later, I'll come back here to Brooklyn and go to the storage unit, clean out the storage unit, bring the rest of it down, and then put that in the storage unit in wherever I may be. So it's going to be, an adventure in the next maybe a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Who knows? But I am pretty soon. I would say in the next couple years, I will definitely be moving away from this horrible city of New York City, of Brooklyn. But I'm pretty much going to be retired. So, well, not retired, but I'll be retired from New York. But I'll still miss it, and then I'll come back every once in a while to, just to see how Brooklyn's doing, maybe hang out with a couple of my friends here and there. probably stay at a hotel for the weekend or whatever, because I'm not gonna, you know, this house will be sold or torn down. And who knows, you know, what's gonna happen, you know, down the road, but we'll see. Not thinking about it right now, but eventually, as 2026 starts, that's when I think, you know, I'm going to start thinking about what my actual, well, what I'm going to be doing as I get into my 50s. So I'm going to hit level 49, you know, 4 months and 14 days from now. So, 4 months, 2 weeks, and 4 minutes. Actually, take that back. 4 months, 13 days, and 3 minutes till basically level 49. So as we go to 2026, as you know, we turn the calendar over and I start level 49, going into the midpoint, level 50. That's when I will probably think, what am I gonna do as I turn 50 and going into my 50s, and whether I still live here in New York or I move away. We'll have to see what happens with all that. But you know, and as my parents get older, you know, I get older, the missus gets older, you know, my friends get older, you know, I gotta start worrying about my parents' health, and I gotta worry about my health, and you know, so it's gonna be an adventure for the next, I say, another year, couple years to come. Excuse me, see, I can't even talk now. I'm dying. So the next couple years is gonna be, you know, a learning process, and I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do as I get into my 50s, and then going into my 60s, and then, you know, hopefully I have another, at least more time with my parents and everything. Then I worry about, you know, what happened, you know, what I do with Casa del Joseph, probably sell it, get the money for it, and take it wherever I'm gonna go, put it in the bank. Then I gotta worry about what I'm gonna do with my parents' house, which I might keep and rent out, or I don't know if I'd like to move back in there, you know, go back there. It's like, you know, it's my childhood home, want to go back in there, but I'm like, nah, too many good and bad memories in that house. I'm like, you know what, I'd rather just freaking either sell the house and get the money from that too, or rent it, get money, you know, and then let whoever lives there trash it or whatever. But we're not thinking about that now. Let's just think positive, because, you know, let's just get through the rest of this month, get through the rest of this year, get to level 49, and then the countdown beyond the level 50, and we'll see what happens with that. All right, enough about that bull funky. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to record my my TNA Ring of Honor reviews right here on the channel, so stay tuned for that, coming up in a little bit. And then tomorrow we'll talk about Collision. We'll talk about the 16th anniversary. We'll do a little bitty show there on episode 80 of the Shadows Lair, and then get you ready for Monday Night Raw. And we're starting a new wrestling week with a lot of action, a lot of news, and whatever happens next. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace, bitches.